Yeah, welcome back to the Crypto Horrors. So, today's video, we're finally getting to the fun stuff. So, the used pickups, which is where all the excitement comes in. So, there are multiple trips here, so we're gonna just kind of parcel it out. So, first things first, Centipede. So I'm in a class about prehistoric insects, and we were talking about centipedes, and I was like, are there any killer centipede movies? And I looked it up. This is literally it. This is the only killer centipede movie out there. Uh, it was pretty shocking, actually. I could have sworn there were at least two or three more. This is pretty much a sci-fi original movie. Uh, kind of slightly before that trend really got into gear. The first 40 minutes are apparently this movie was actually made in India, which is why all the character voices sound really strange, because there's some pretty obvious, honestly pretty bad dubbing that becomes very apparent very quickly. But it does kind of make sort of the rest of the movie make sense. So there are giant centipedes in this cave, and a bunch of teens wander into the cave to have like a spring break party or something. The first 40 minutes are pretty oof. They're typical mediocre movie slow, let's put it that way. But it really ramps up when the creature appears, and this has a really good creature. Like, I was surprised by how good the practical creature was. Like, I thought it would be like a CG thing, because I have seen this before on sci-fi. Like, this is like a 2000. Oh yeah, this is a 2004 movie. Yeah, so this would have been a first-gen sci-fi movie before they started going nuts with CGI. And well, anyway, their centipede looks pretty good, and the creature mayhem also pretty good. So this is a movie where, like, the first 40 minutes, I was like, man, what did I get myself into? And then it ramped up pretty much right at that point, and I was like, wow, this is pretty fun. So, it was cheap, and I think I could have maybe seen it streaming somewhere, or, like, this is the kind of movie that could end up on YouTube, and it wouldn't get copyrighted, let's just say. Uh, but I had a pretty good time with it. All in all. So, and their practical centipede was very good. Like, that, it really impressed me. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of stuff that made no sense, but, you want giant centipedes? That's your best bet. And then the next thing in that trip was the first season of Slasher, which is a TV series that I absolutely love. So, it's kind of a murder mystery. Like, each season's a different storyline, and it's really, really graphic and brutal. Like, it is not afraid to hurt you. So, for whatever reason, this is a Shout Factory release, so there's not really a whole lot of extras on this, unfortunately. Like, there is like a 15-minute behind the scenes thing, which is good. I appreciated seeing that. But this whole series is on Netflix, so I guess there wasn't a whole lot of incentive to keep putting them on physical discs, which is kind of a shame, because I would like to have the other two seasons of Slasher on Blu-ray, because I've rewatched the show quite a few times, so I think this was maybe the fourth or fifth time I saw season one, and it still holds up. Like, it's such a good show. I really wish people were talking about it. I do kind of want to ask Shout Factory directly, though. You know, hey, why aren't there more of these? But I guess since Netflix owns it now, it's kind of Netflix's prerogative. And it was also very cheap, too. There was a bunch of stuff that was on suspicious markdown. So this was like $6 as opposed to like the 15 to 20 it usually is. So yeah. Oh, I didn't get the tag off of this one. Whoop. So we have this is a kind of a weird independent movie I saw a while ago, Troll Hunter. set in like, I always get the names of places like Norway, Sweden, just that whole Scandinavian, like, Nordic countries. Like, I always kind of lump them together in my head because, well, I'm American and they don't really teach us geography here. uh, so, if anybody from those areas is watching. But anyway, it's pretty much like a mock documentary where they follow around this guy who hunts trolls, which are large and very dangerous. And the effects of this are pretty good. Like, the trolls are really convincing. Like, even some of, like, the cruddy or CGI ones still, like, work in the narrative. And I haven't seen it in, probably almost 10 years. But it's pretty good. And so, you know, for $5, I'm happy to revisit it. And then in that trip, we also got an Arrow title, We Are the Flesh, which I remember a few years ago when they first released this, there was some buzz about it, and it sounded interesting. And I almost bought it new, but I was kind of like, I don't really know anything about it. And then seeing it, you know, for half of what the new disc comes for, it's like, okay, we'll give it a try. So I think this is in Spanish. It's like subtitled. I didn't look at the back particularly hard, but it should be an interesting ride. So, and at the very least, if it turns out I didn't like it, I got such a good deal on it, I can probably flip it and get my money back without too much trouble. And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is, I guess, our most mainstream title. So I typically don't like Quentin Tarantino's movies, like, the first time. Well, okay. So with Kubrick movies, I tend to not like Kubrick's movies the first time I see them. Like, I have to rewatch them to kind of gain an appreciation for them. Like, I love Clockwork Orange, for example, and I hated it the first time I saw it. Whereas with Tarantino, it's kind of the opposite. So, like, I can see a Tarantino movie and be like, yeah, this is great. And then I'll, like, watch it one, maybe two more times, and it's like, maybe this wasn't as great as I thought it was. So this is actually going to be a gift for somebody because they love Leonardo DiCaprio, and so I figured it'd be a good way to, you know, the price was great, and I think it'd be a good way to, you know, see the movie for myself and then get something that they would really enjoy. So, and pretty happy about that price too, because it's been out for a little while, but it's still kind of an expensive title. And then lastly, so this was kind of part of a trade that I did with a fellow collector, the Tales of Halloween box set, which I missed out on back when I first saw this movie. I was a pretty big fan of it when it came out. I was like, wow, that's awesome. And I'd been hoping to run into this release, but it just wasn't happening. And then a friend of mine was like, hey, I'll trade you this for, I think he wanted Gags the Clown. And then he just didn't pick it up. And now we're in quarantine, so I can get that to him at any point. But anyway, so it's a 4-disc set. So it comes with the movie on Blu-ray, the movie on DVD. The bonus features are on a separate disc, so that's probably a good sign. And then the soundtrack, which I think I remember this having a pretty good soundtrack. So I'm looking forward to revisiting that. So it's, if I remember correctly, it was like an anthology film with a lot of fairly well-known, like, directors. Like, I think Adam Green or Joe Lynch is in this. Let's see. Oh, well, I found out about it on the Movie Crypt, which, I'm thinking I might change the name of this channel to, like, the Apartment of Horrors, because after, I used to listen to the Movie Crypt while I had, like, a day job, and when I no longer had the day job and, you know, got busy with school, I kind of forgot Movie Crypt existed, and so when I named this channel, it's like, Crypt of Horrors, I don't know, because everything shorter was taken. And now that I'm kind of being more active in the horror community, it's like, oh, Um, would Adam Green think I was ripping off Movie Crypt if I'm still the Crypt of Horrors? Nah. But anyway, so Lucky McKee did a segment. Ryan Schifrin. Yeah, a lot of good stuff here. I'm just like looking at the credits now. But yeah, it should be a fun ride, and looking forward to revisiting that. So, well, I think that probably brings us to a close. Hopefully you like this new format where we're shorter and quicker to the point. And yeah, let me know what you think. Like, share, and subscribe. And we'll be back to hang out with you during the apocalypse.